My name's Don.
And I'm Peter.
And we are two plebs talking about the news.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, indeed. Hey, welcome back.
Yeah.
Good time to not be here for a couple of days. I'm not gonna lie.
I noticed.
It's been.
But anyway, I've kept kind of an ear out on what's going on.
Yeah. So before we get distracted, not as though you really could.
Right.
Las Vegas is ever developing.
Yep. Ever developing. The situation is, as we would suspect, ever expanding in one way or shape or form.
So before we really get to what I think we're going to be talking about most of the show today, there's some updates that are worthwhile. The Las Vegas Metro PD released body cam footage of, it's about 3 minutes of body cam footage that is officers who were working something to do with the concert, seems to be the majority of it. If you listen to their press briefings, there is hours more body cam footage, which we're probably going to get eventually. But it is, I will say that of the things that happen in there, one of the things that was most noteworthy to me is that seemingly within a minute or two, someone narrows it down to a building where the shots are coming from.
Yeah.
And this, for anybody who plays a lot of Call of Duty, I'm sure that doesn't seem very impressive because you're used to, finding out where shots are coming from within a second or you're dead. But in the real world, that's pretty fast.
Right.
So somebody was doing a pretty good job.
Right, because, Call of Duty, you have the
shot indicators and all kinds of
shot indicators, the 360 surround sound systems.
Right.
And they still don't have physics entered in for echoing off of other structures.
Sure.
But
it doesn't really matter.
No.
Anyway, in the world of small favors, we have some hypothetically mildly good news. It seems that the 59 dead count includes the shooter. So in the world of small favors, I will take one less dead civilian as good news.
Yes, one less victim.
Right. It's not great, but no. I'll take it. And again, in the world of small favors, it looks like the 527 number reported by basically everyone everywhere includes a double count of a hospital. Now, no one has subsequently, as far as I can tell, released an updated casualty count, but seemingly it's not 527, so even if it's 524, because it was a really tiny hospital double counting,
right.
In the world of small favors, I will take good news.
Yeah, we will take any bit of good news that there is to be found.
Fact. Of the other things that have happened, the pictures that have been going around, they're in the descriptions of, I think, Tuesday's video, are confirmed as real, of note because they never stop. 4chan compiled them all together into one picture, as they're basically three, and somebody spent at least a couple of minutes putting together one composite image of the three of them so it looks like a sort of panoramic shot. I'll link that in the description. It's, it tells the story.
It tells a really horrible story.
It does, but it tells you more than what just the images separately do, which is to say that there seemed to be a lot of confusion about how many of those were duplicate weapons and that sort of thing. But that said, myself and one of our subscribers actually spent some time aggregating the amount of money that is in that one panoramic picture. And I'm going to go a little bit high with just what you see there, but I would not be too surprised if there is about $20,000 worth of firearms, optics, magazines, ammunition.
Right.
Various attachments involved worth of weaponry in that composite picture. I mean,
right.
It's a little bit highball, but not really. And so, I mean, this was a pretty massive expenditure, and knowing what some of those things are and how rare they are, this one thing that composite picture definitely tells you is work was put in to make this happen. This took time. There was effort
Yeah, this was not roll down to your local store and pick all this stuff up in one day.
Not in the slightest. And something that's important to say here is I am not in the slightest suggesting that he was paid by somebody else. I mean, or any of the false flag conspiracy theories that are out there. Because just fact of the matter, we know the guy had a lot of money.
Yeah, we know the guy had a lot of money, and if he was being paid to do this, typically people who are doing something like this for profit intend to survive the incident to enjoy said profit.
Well, look, we're not going down that road. I don't know how else to say this because there's not anything sensical down that road.
No.
But that said, of the other relevant things that are coming out at the moment, it looks like the girlfriend that was in the Philippines that I talked about on, I think, Monday was sent there at sort of a moment's notice about 2 weeks ago and had seen, as it stands, the best information we have is that she had no idea that this was happening. However, she is currently being interviewed by the FBI, so I'm sure they have better information than I do.
Well, as I understand it, she is from the article I read, that she is an Australian citizen who was born in the Philippines. She was, in fact, sent to the Philippines to visit family, but she was found in Tokyo.
Well, okay, so at some point the sheriff said, to the best of my knowledge, she's in Japan. At a later press conference, he said, well, she was in the middle of traveling, so yes, at that moment she was in Japan, but her destination was the Philippines.
Okay.
Which, whatever. Anyway, this probably explains the previous mentioned $100,000 that he sent to the Philippines, because seemingly that's being correlated to his girlfriend / whatever she is.
Right.
So maybe that doesn't put ISIS on the table. What a surprise. But regardless, that seems to be the situation. Again, as soon as she landed in the U.S., the FBI picked her up and said, we're going. So nobody knows what that means, so just leave it alone until we know something.
Well, I mean, initially, until they found out that she was out of the country, she was a person of interest. Then they found out she was out of the country and said, well, we still kind of want to find her.
Well, that makes her a person of interest, not a suspect, which is a very big difference.
No, and I understand it's a difference, but they dropped the person of interest for a while. And then, yeah, she's a person of interest.
At no point did they drop the person of interest thing. That was reported in the media. Every single press conference, the sheriff said she is a person of interest.
Well, I would think she is, living with him and all.
Right. Which, I don't know how you could escape that moniker, as it were, under the circumstance. But anyway, last thing before we get to what else I'd really like to get to today is there is a receipt. Once again, understand your source. This is being reported by Alex Jones. But there is a receipt that appears to correlate to the gunman's hotel room that has a hell of a lot on it. And I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a lot. But the supposition from this is that the hotel tray that, oh shit, I guess there is one more thing, that he stationed a camera on is this room service, right?
Right.
But this is supposedly the receipt to that room service, and the supposition is it's more food than one person's going to eat, so clearly there was a second shooter. Well, if that's all the evidence that it takes to convince you there's a second shooter, then okay. But, I mean, go through that receipt. This doesn't mean anything. Assuming that it actually is to that room, assuming that it is from the same day, assuming that a whole lot of things that just a receipt doesn't say are actually true, it still doesn't definitively prove a second shooter. Please stop this. There's no...
Right.
Because,
I mean, think of it this way, man. This is somebody who most likely was planning on not making it out of the situation alive. And what you saw in that receipt was his planned last meal.
Probably.
So why not go gluttonous as possible? You're not surviving another 24 hours.
Maybe. None of that matters, truth be told. But,
no.
Taking this one receipt and inferring something from it it's not a thing. There is nothing, assuming that it is what it purports to be, it still doesn't definitively prove anything.
No.
However,
what it proves is that he ordered a lot of food to his room. That's it.
Again, assuming the receipt's real, yeah. But this brings me on to the last thing that is a worthwhile update. the gunman put cameras on the peephole in the door so he could see down the hallway, is at least what the sheriff is saying.
Yep.
As well as on the aforementioned tray from ordering room service, again, so he could see down the hallway. This is why the cops who first hit the door were shot at the moment they touched the door, because he knew they were coming.
It was a security guard.
Yes, that happened to the cops too. There's... Did I not? I could have swore I covered this. So,
you probably covered this in a different video. The other video report I saw didn't say anything about police being shot at.
It happened.
Okay.
Anyway.
Actually, there's so much.
Yeah.
It's hard to pull it all in.
Also, there is some thing going on where SWAT took forever to breach the door.
72 minutes.
Yeah, right. And look, when there's a guy leaning out a window shooting, that is one type of situation. The moment he stops shooting, it becomes another type of situation.
Right.
So, and I had this sort of discussion in the comments of, I think, Tuesday's video, but the reality is, if he was leaning out the window shooting at the time that SWAT was at the door, they probably wouldn't have waited. But it probably would have been, okay, best action, we blow the door and just run. But once he stops shooting out the window at the public, it becomes like a barricade situation. So like, okay, we can wait and come up with a plan that is better than, well, fuck it, run it.
Get him.
And so that's exactly what they did.
As we found out from Ghostbusters, get him is never a good plan.
You would think, but again, it seems to be what we're asking for.
I think I'm trying to do our usual dark humor here, and it's just not working.
I'll have at it, man. Look, for me, it's been 72 hours of staring at this, so keep up the levity where you can.
Okay.
Anyway, with all of that said, I think that's all of the really relevant updates to this situation, as well as some kind of irrelevant ones, but that brings us to what is going on in what we normally talk about, which is politics.
Right.
And this gets me to what is not the answer to this, because that seems to be what the entire political arena is doing. Not the answer.
Yep.
Right? So, I think yesterday I talked about even Ben Shapiro's coming out talking about how bump stocks should be illegal. Well, I'm just going to lay this down hard. If you make bump stocks illegal, you will stop the sale of them to the general public. That's what will happen.
Yep.
However, you will not close the doors of every Lowe's or Home Depot in the country where you could make a bump stock for less than $50 in under an hour.
Right.
So if you think that outlawing them is going to produce the result that no one can ever use one again, well, I have really sad news for you. That is just not true. Now, if you want to argue, yeah, but that one might not be as effective, well, under the circumstances, listen to the audio. The guy wasn't very effective with them anyway, and thank God for that.
Right.
But, I mean, it's not... This is the idea that we can stop terrible people from doing terrible things with a single piece of legislation, and no matter how many pieces of this legislation we write, it never happens.
Right.
So...
yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of the Facebook posting, and you can see how... emotionally driven it is. Like one post I saw was like, people argue that the item used to, perpetrate this mass shooting is considered a right, but the medical care needed to correct it is a privilege.
Stop it. There's a reason I have not addressed this point up till now, and it's because it's stupid. Yeah. This is my political point that I, A, hate guns, and B, like socialized medicine is better than whatever. And this shooting proves that, which is ridiculous.
And it does not.
Right. Anyway, so, again, things that are not the answer. Anything to do with that point.
Yep, not the answer.
That said, there is equally this ridiculous push about silencers. I know there's suppressors. I did this yesterday too.
Yes, you did.
Because the media is calling them silencers. The politicians are calling them silencers. Same disclaimer I made yesterday.
Well, that is the same slang term that has been used for them in movies for ages.
Right.
That is the common knowledge name for it.
Because how we learn things as Americans. Yeah.
The movies.
Anyway.
That's right.
So they have nothing to do with this. If anything in this world proves that it's just, I hate the gun industry, therefore I'm going to legislate against them, it is the silencer dynamic.
Yes.
They have less than nothing. Like negative amounts of being involved in this situation.
Right.
And yet.
Because for one, people, the suppressors do not make the guns as quiet as a mouse fart.
No.
They don't.
It's just not a thing, but it doesn't matter. People are going to say stupid shit, and everyone is emotional, so, oh my god, what if he had a silencer on his guns? And the answer is, nothing would have changed. Not a thing.
Nope, nothing.
Not even kind of a thing. So, if that's really the route we want to go down here, then just understand that what you're doing is emotional manipulation to make yourself feel better so you can do something. Which, by the way, not the answer to this.
No.
Do something.
Yeah.
Those words are never the answer.
Right.
Because, by the way, something involves, this is now a police state, there is a cop on every corner, you have no civil rights.
Right.
It's something, but it's not the something we're talking about. That's irrational.
And the one thing I find funny is that the common response to a lot of issues in the world, we contribute, like, say, so many deaths to drunk drivers, but we blame the drivers. We don't blame the alcohol. We don't blame the cars. We don't remove the alcohol from shelves or advocate to remove alcohol from the shelves. This
is not a road you want to go down because it gets ever complicated, and people who are pro-gun are going to make a lot of those arguments and compare them to how we regulate alcohol in cars, and people who are anti-gun are going to say, yes, but we have all these regulations for alcohol. It is not even remotely close to a subject we could seriously cover, probably even in a 20-minute show.
Gotcha.
So, it's anything that is this is clearly the answer, this will help. Speaking of which, there should be snipers everywhere. This is not a good plan.
No.
But it's one that I've heard advanced all over the place. Well,
we need to have police snipers stationed everywhere.
Should hire snipers to stop this in the future. Okay.
No.
Think about this for 2 seconds. One, the first time that this happens, one of those snipers actually kills someone would lose their shit.
Yeah, accidentally kills the wrong person, for one.
First of all. Second of all, and I cannot make this clear enough, this is not Modern Warfare.
No,
this is not
a fucking video game.
Rambo. This is not, the old sniper movies. For 99% of the people on the planet, there is no, it's there, windage, fire, got him in the eyeball. That's not a thing.
No, no, it's not. No, it is not.
So, this is just not how long shots, and by nature of what we're talking about here, they would have been, right?
Ooh.
And you really want these guys to take even the first ranging shot into the side of a hotel?
No.
So, just to be clear here, mechanically this is a bad idea.
Right.
But on top of that, what else is involved? Where every time there's a concert, you need to hire a sniper for every building, above 2 stories?
Any building that can shoot into the venue.
Well, to point at it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, hypothetically, you want all of the tallest buildings. So in Vegas, you're going to have to hire like 50 snipers if you so much as like open a hot dog stand.
Right.
So is this a viable option? No, please stop it.
Right. Because as we have found in the past when it comes to the mass shootings, we still don't generally know the motivation behind the people.
Well,
some people we do know. Like this guy, we have no clue.
Yet we generally get it, but motivation in the end. But that's sort of an irrelevancy.
Right.
If the guy's motivated by, the Red Dragon, the movie, and he wants to be that guy, it doesn't change whether or not a sniper would be able to kill him on the spot.
No.
So, or how much it would cost to make this hypothetically viable, even.
Right.
So, but from there, though, we also, We get the I need to ban all the things, right? Because this is already where we're going. If you read articles about this, well, he had a flash suppressor, and that stopped them from being able to find out where the gunshots were coming from. That's not how flash suppressors work.
No.
So,
It's not.
Unless you have the actual flash suppressor, as opposed to just the muzzle brake at the end that has a little tiny recoil compensator / flash suppressor, that doesn't stop the flash. It just doesn't.
No.
But we're going to say that because reasons. And, I mean, you can go buy a legitimate flash suppressor that decently well suppresses flash. But none of that was evident here, so that's not relevant.
No, I mean, from the body cams, it sounds like they identified his general location pretty quick.
Right. So even if it was a flash suppressor, it didn't change anything. So banning flash suppressors is not going to do anything. Please stop it. On top of that, there's the inevitable, well, we should ban this firearm. Well,
why?
So, mostly because it's scary and, well, you know, the bump stocks and all the other kind of shit that's going on, right?
Right.
So, part of the reason that I wanted to outline the amount of money that is in that room, right?
Right.
This is 20 grand roughly in those 3 pictures. And based on the number of guns they're reporting, which is seemingly about 20 and ish about 15 of them, the number keeps changing. Otherwise, I pin it down. But about 15 of them supposedly had bump stocks and all this kind of fucking, you know, tripods and all kinds of other shit attached to them. Well, now you're talking about at least a down payment on a house.
Yeah.
If not purchasing a house in most of the country. This guy probably spent 6 figures doing this.
Yeah.
There is a reality, whether you like it or not, that if you are willing to spend enough money, you will be able to do this no matter what is banned. So, the pure and simple fact that there was a millionaire who was willing to do this meant that it was going to happen.
Right.
Now, you don't have to like that, and I'm not suggesting that you do or should. But, if you are willing to throw enough money at this, it doesn't matter if it's banned. I mean, the same people who are screaming ban it are telling me that you can't stop the flow of immigrants over the border, even with a wall, but clearly we can stop the flow of weapons over the border? Get out of here. I mean, guns don't breathe, they don't eat, they are very small compared to people.
Yep.
The ability to smuggle a weapon into this country is like infinite compared to a person. But if we just made the guns illegal, they would go away for people who are millionaires, who are willing to spend most people's annual salary 2 or 3 times over to get this done? Yeah, I don't think so.
No.
So, I mean, yeah, we could ban it, and lots of people who there's nothing they can do about it anyway are going to go, okay, well, it's banned, there's nothing I can do. It's not going to stop this guy.
No.
Nothing. Whether you like it or not, nothing was going to stop this. There's no, he had 10 suitcases, so we should have searched them, because that's a thing that's being floated around.
Well, people come in with a large amount of luggage into hotels all the time, and we don't feel a need to search them.
Right.
Just because somebody went and did something absolutely horrendous and evil doesn't change how we should view other people doing things.
No. But that it's a supposition that's, well, he came with 10 suitcases. Okay, well, here's how this works. Most of the people who work at casinos, right, and hotels and this sort of thing in Vegas are making, I'll go big and say $10-15 an hour.
Right.
And they're not over there with notepads writing down every single person that comes in.
Right.
They're not.
And we don't need hotels. And we also don't need hotels to have, airport tight security.
Well,
that's kind of what the argument is.
Basically. But over and over and over again, right? These people see thousands of people every day.
Right.
Well, here's the deal. If they see thousands of people and you say, oh, if you carry more than 5 suitcases, the guy that wants to do this carries 3, and he does it 3 times.
Yep. Instead
of 10 once. You have slowed him down by roughly an hour.
Right, which means he plans appropriately and has all of his getting into the room the day before he plans shooting, so an hour inconvenience is nothing.
This guy already was.
Right. So
this wouldn't even have affected this situation.
Nope.
And there's this idea that floating out around that I've heard a couple of times that, well, maybe they should just have security search your room every single day. And it doesn't matter if you have a do not disturb sign up. Security just barges into your room and just searches it.
Well, we have a constitution that says you can't do that.
Nothing that says a local company can't do that. Everything that says the government can't do that.
Oh, okay.
However, for everyone complaining that our rights are being circumvented by corporations and then the government is using that information to circumvent the Constitution, that is literally what you're asking for.
Yep.
Throw the Fourth Amendment out because, well, the company could do it.
Something tells me that some people might say, let's get this done, and then they stop going to hotels.
Mm-hmm. And, look, once again, even if you do this, the guy goes to the next building over, and instead of checking in, he goes to the rooftop.
Yep.
What are you going to do? There is a reality, and it is a shitty one, that if someone wants to hurt people enough, they will do it.
And they will find a way.
And considering the quantity of resources that this guy had, there probably was no stopping him. And I know no one wants to hear that, oh, there's nothing we could do, huh? There's stuff we could do. No, there isn't. There just isn't. You cannot plug every hole. You cannot close every door. You cannot make sure that nothing ever happens. And that is just the reality. And again, you can argue all you want about all the other mass shootings, but this guy had seemingly at least 6 figures to just blow on this.
Right.
Wanted to. Included 6 more figures for his girlfriend, who he seemingly knew up front he wasn't going to be back to do anything for.
Right.
So, I mean, reasonably, this guy probably spent $250,000.
Yeah.
You weren't stopping this.
No.
And no matter how much you try, by the way, if any of these things happen, security goes through everybody's room. Okay, well, he brings them up all on the day that he's going to do this. Yep. And he checks in 3 days early so he knows when the checks are.
Yep.
Or he barricades the door. I mean, there's thousands of stupid little answers, right?
Right.
To anything we're going to try and do. And this is the problem with being on the defensive side. Because you're always trying to stop a million different dimensions. So, again, if we're going to do something, if we're going to legislate, if we're going to destroy the Fourth Amendment by mandating that companies break it and then turn that information over to the police, then maybe we should not be doing it while everyone is what amounts to out for blood.
Right.
Maybe cool your jets a little bit. Think about it. Try and do something actually productive.
Yeah, I know that does not seem to be what everyone's going with, though. Okay, a lot of people are, and a lot of people are not. we have quite a few people that are saying, let's calm down, think this through, and actually get all the facts, because we don't even have all that yet. And some people are just like, nope, it's doomsday. Stuff has to go now.
And that's the end of our show for the day.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
And those that sexually identify as attack helicopters.
Feel free to call us names in the comment section. The like button is over there.
And so is the dislike button.
The subscribe button is over there.
Do your thing and have a nice day.
Bye, everybody.